Welcome back to, oh God, I almost called it Nose Tools. Iridinod, Rhythmgates, which after that music should really be somewhere in the swirling deserts in the centre of whatever our world is called, which I've forgotten temporarily, but is actually still where we left it underneath Arctic glacier. Yeah.
Although I must say that music is better described by the word nose tool than the word Rhythmgates.
You may not have much pitch, but it had rhythm.
So yes, I think I've only got one song in Finnish actually, and that's not by a Finnish group.
Is it a hymn?
What?
Is it a hymn?
Don't think so.
Finnish hymn.
No, thank you. Right, so yes, and we had. I remember that I'd carefully left things in a situation where it wasn't actually going to cause immediate doom if I unpaused, because we had successfully locked the Bronze Colossus back in a cupboard. Doors on both sides forbidden. Bronze Colossus not a building destroyer. The fairly recent Forgotten Beast. Yes, but do you think... I know I told myself what I was going to do, but do you think I've listened to the recording since then? The fairly recent Forgotten Beast, which was made of salt, as I recall. No, not that one. Do I have to do it through here because it's in a cage? No. Enormous quadruped composed of salt has been successfully captured. Down in the lower caverns, we've got a second Forgotten Beast. Called Nubpo the Fragile Thief, which, given it's made of mud, is probably a reasonable name.
Well, the fragile part, maybe. I'm not sure how to steal anything usefully.
But we, I think, are in a situation where everyone has been asked to clear the caverns and has cleared them some time ago. So we can safely, once we've organised trapping that, and we've filled those cages, we should be able to let that out. So that's forbidden, so that won't let anything out of there. And I think someone has been ordered to pull each of those levers, and it just hasn't happened yet. So yes, I think actually I had set things up so essentially I'm in a situation where I want to unpause, wait for some levers to be pulled, and then things will start happening. And in particular, we will finally start removing all of this rubbish from up here. Sadly, I fear it includes a rock corpse. Maybe not. So once that's opened, let's reclaim them all now while I remember. Basically, everything up here should now be picked up and taken downstairs. So, yes, the other things labelled uninvited guests are there's our two web-spinning Forgotten Beasts, that one, and the Bronze Colossus, which is in a cupboard. And the two web spinners are both under there going, I have no idea how to keep them in a cage. Right, so that's now open, so I think I can now release our new Forgotten Beast from... Oh, I already released it. From downstairs. It should now be going, aha, I smelled cat.
What would Sigourney Beaver do in your situation?
Yeah.
Albert, some other kind of zombie.
Yes, death zombies are not really a kind of zombie. They're an intelligent undead.
Oh, well, yes,
Um, let's see if we can close that door at precisely the correct moment. What? What are you doing? You're meant to be going in there. You shouldn't change your mind now. My forgotten beast got within 10 paces of the door it's meant to go through. And then changed its mind. Sorry, let's cancel pulling that lever for now. While we wait for the forgotten beast to decide that it does actually want that cat. Come on. What now? Oh, thank you. Well, if you insist. I'm busy. Right, it's in there. Whose webs are those? Is this actually a web spinner and I'm going to be embarrassed? Because I didn't bother. Beware its webs. Oh, what a mess. Well, in that case, let's pull the lever anyway, because trapping it in there is better than not trapping it. And then we should build a proper trap for a third web spinning zombie. Zombie? Forgotten beast. Okay. Right. So that forgotten beast is now locked in for now. Right, and we can now get at all of the objects up here. So I should probably mark a bunch of them for dumping so that we don't bother with them. I'm slightly confused by these peasant limbs. Maybe I shouldn't be marking too many things for dumping, just in case we turn out to have a use for them. Right, so now it's safe to let everyone out into the caverns, and we need to set up a third trap, which by tradition should branch off from this room here. So traditionally we have 1 square of floor, 1 square of window, 1 square of fortifications, and then a 3x3 room. So, and we could make them nice carved fortifications if we leave that as is for now and build a staircase Do we have any convenient corridors directly above? Not quite. So conventionally the staircase should just be off to one side. And then we obviously need a route by which the Forgotten Beast can get into that. Which may as well be over there. And we probably need to make a window. Actually, I kind of feel if we're going to make it like that, we should expand that a little bit more. Make it more of a proper room down there. Right, I should unpause, well, while I'm drinking lemon squash, shouldn't I? So now, all being well, oops, no, a bunch of objects up here that got accidentally forbidden because probably they got hurled down here when we pulled the lever. So is anyone actually... Now everyone is going, oh, there's all this stuff upstairs that's suddenly available. And having lots of fun with it. Still, maybe that'll cheer some people up. They're all going, pick up equipment. Must find some new kit. Happily, I think most of those superscript 2s are not actually not actually teeth. They're slightly larger objects like limbs, or at least bones. Though the chances are we're probably going to want some more coffins soon, aren't we? Let's make some more coffins. No, that's not what I meant. Why on earth are coffins P in a... mason's workshop when they're N when you want to install them? It's just silly. Ooh, I should install a door here. Following the general rule of trying to seal off mine workings when I'm not using them. I mean, obviously this will also work better if I... Actually, no. Let's make it a door that's in a colour that I don't care about. Seal off the mine workings even if I don't actually remember to lock the doors. Let's stick a door. All kind of confusing down here. There. One. There. Wall that off with some granite blocks. Right. Everyone is up here shuffling equipment around. Of my miners, one is meditating on torture, two are picking up equipment, and one is storing an item in a stockpile. And no one is digging a forgotten beast trap. Yes, it looks like all of our installed coffins. I mean, one of them's gone weird again. We've got one that's a diorite coffin assigned to nobody. So we can probably fix that at least. Oh, is the front door still locked? Yes. That can of course be unlocked because the Forgotten Beast is currently in a cupboard, albeit not in the cupboard I want to keep it in the end. Yes, I think you'll find it's been killed by a Forgotten Beast. That door is... Let's unlock that door so that people can... Actually, let's unlock that door so that people can retrieve things. So that looks like a goblin skeleton, like it's shown as a G. So let's have that actually trashed, because otherwise it'll sit there on that ramp irritating me. Seriously large pile of stuff there. Right, and in this stockpile we have cat's paw, another cat's paw, and most of the rest of the cat. So let us... So that one has somehow ended up assigned to nobody, rather than being available for burying. So I'm going to temporarily remove that coffin and reinstall it in the hope that it turns back into an ordinary coffin. That may be an unhappy person I've not paid attention to before. Testry the Noiseless. I think we've got a... temple to Testry the Noiseless. Don't seem to have any problem with crafts, unlike some people. We'd probably like to do some more work. Would you like to get into mining? You're boring, insofar as I can tell. Right, good. No need to worry about that. Strange mood. It is proceeding according to plan. No, we don't seem to have a vampire problem in this fortress. I mean, to be fair, I mostly treated the vampire as not a problem in the last fortress on the grounds that the death rate due to vampires was so much less than the death rate due to zombie rhinoceroses. At least until we accidentally made zombie rhinoceroses extinct. Oh, right, the miners have got their asses into gear. And we have thus discovered a small cluster of gems in the Forgotten Beast trap, which is obviously unhelpful. Or at least, we don't really want the gems to be left down there. Oh, hello, human caravan.
That sounds stranger than it is.
Right?
Yes.
How urgent is that?
Well, I run out of that drug at the end of Monday.
How urgent is that?
Can you go Monday or Tuesday morning? Because otherwise my stomach will dissolve. It's not one I should really go off quickly.
Right, so... Now, in the tedious thing of select all of the objects that we should probably be wanting to trade, and to go, why haven't you put them in bins? I'm sure I wanted you to put these in bins. All the bins are empty. That probably means several of them are in bins, but there's a locking problem that means that I can't actually move the bins or something silly like that. Yeah, I'm not going to move that. It only contains 2 pairs of trousers. Mark a few very worn out iron things for melting so that we don't destroy them. Well, we've probably asked to shift enough stuff. Right, there are 3 bins there. Surely... Okay, that one's empty. That one is a finished goods bin that contains all of an earring and a earring. That one contains a bunch of stuff. We are currently under, we are under an export ban, but it's an export ban of ballista parts, which is fairly uninteresting, really. Wrist trammel hatchet. That's nice. Well, here is pumpkin, but you're not really very interesting. It's in, oh no. Actually, that's quite odd. That tile there is apparently marked for smoothing, but doesn't appear marked for smoothing here. Doesn't it usually? Oh well, maybe I'm confused. Athel spotted rims. You're also quite a boring person. Miners have apparently decided it's now their job to move things around. Yes, I should make a tiny pen zone and install something small and feline in it. And then had a plan. What was my plan? Along with installing that. Oh yes, we have more pigs to neuter. A pig bone bed. Well, a pig bone bed. A bed made out of pig bone. You can't usually make beds out of bone, but if you're really good at making furniture... You can give it a try.
This feels like it's one of those things from Ian Banks' era.
Encrusted with square brilliant cut amethysts, studded with silver, decorated with ash. I think the wood, but I'm not sure. Encircled with bands of giant octopus leather. It is adorned with hanging rings of rope reed and dingo leather, and menaces with spikes of granite.
Hopefully not the bit you're lying on.
But is it
Well, it only menaces with spikes of granite, so yes.
It doesn't actually spike.
It doesn't spike with spikes of granite. On the item is an image of Aloth Gorgewalk the dwarf and dwarves in Pigbone. Aloth Gorgewalk is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Aloth Gorgewalk to the position of Queen of the Rock of Fortune in 156.
Hold on, I figured it out. There is a use for having spikes. You have to see it as an opportunity rather than a problem. You punch them through the corners of the duvet, and then if one of the people in the bed is a habitual duvet stealer, it doesn't work.
or you just rip the duvet.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. But the duvet's probably made of giant octopus leather, so it's going to be difficult to rip.
You say that. I mean,
the
It might be made of absolutely
it might
anything around here, it's true.
challenge accepted.
the dwarven beds in Skyrim are just solid lumps of stone, with like maybe a fur draped over them. For some reason, the people who live in the former dwarven halls don't think to provide more modern facilities. It is named the Humid Gloom. Right, well, we should probably install that in its creator's bedroom. Mesthos Eturithar. Though, of course, given it's a bed, it will... Well, no. So, yeah, let's just remove it and install the correct bed in its place once it's been removed. Mesthos Eturithar. Bone carver. Short delay while the person installing the bed has to clear out a load of rubbish from the space it's meant to go in.
Tomorrow at least is set for a reasonable time. Tuesdays. feed it to sort of my home, but states.
Well, I've got an umbrella, and getting wet on the way home is the least bad.
It's
of
true.
wetness, 'cause I
It's
can dry out as well.
Except, of course, when you're carrying boxes and gumballs, or whatever it's called.
Yes, that is less. That has been known to go less well, but I'm not.
I'll remember how you build a bridge eventually. So that's what we want, isn't it? Yes. So now we kind of hope that someone will actually remove those gems. Not just move them one square to the side. Just wondering if we can make the room from which you're allowed to observe forgotten beasts have another, like, allow you to see more of them. But I think we've rather hemmed ourselves in here. Oh well, we can always go another floor down and have a second floor of forgotten beast observation portholes. Right. The broker is currently busy worshipping, but I've asked them to please come upstairs.
I mean, it's encouraging that someone somewhere in this fortune is managing to work out how to worship.
You think the vast choice of temples might just be a bit intimidating?
Well, I mean, all of these things do seem to say people are feeling bad after not being able to pray to this or that god. I mean, not just not having time or not. I do wonder if, I don't know, there's some disconnection in the fortress layout and people can't actually get to the temples or something. But if someone is managing it, that's...
Yes. Oh, she is frustrated after being unable to pray to an awful lot of gods. But is managing to pray to one of them. I mean, mostly you'd think that people would be inconvenienced by the sheer quantity of pigs they have to get past in order to reach the temples.
Yeah, there is that.
So is there any chance you guys could actually like pick up this pile of gems? I mean, I'm not surprised we've got a bone carver guild somehow. But at least there's a job to cut Levin opals currently active. I think that means we may have successfully butchered the rock, which is nice, because that should make for some good meals. Have 100 units of prepared rock intestines.
That was confusing.
267 units of rock meat. Yeah, if we can turn that into some prepared meals, those will be nice. Broker is still busy worshipping. Anyway, lots of people have been buried. We should Kel Ruler Sherib. Oh, we've already got a thing for them. Good. So Eshtan Zonoshil and Ingiz Thingamy. Kogan Bistok Kulet, the one whose coffin I couldn't find. Yes. The Armoured Guild has many members in Rhythmgates and now requires a guild hall. The location must be built and furnished with the hall designated for a bone carver guild. Yes, okay. Have a guild of bone carvers because we have too many bone carvers. I mean, we have deliberately a lot of bone carvers, to be fair.
What's the effect on the guild hall? Would it make the bone carving more profitable?
It gives the guild members somewhere to chat about bone carving, mostly. So it means that they can pass on bone carving skill to one another they can rather than learning it solely by experience, they can actually teach one another about bone carving. And possibly work out how to do it without having to try it practically. And this is apparently quite a good thing to do. I don't think I've done it, mind. Not least because we don't seem to need it so much here for your medics, because in general medics don't get a lot of practice, and then they need it all at once when suddenly you have something comes in and injures 15 dwarves. And so what you could do is you can designate your hospital to also be a guild for medical professions, a guild hall for medical professions, so that the various medical people will hang around there discussing medicine with one another, which means they're A, in your hospital when you need them, and B, getting slowly better at medicine. We still haven't shifted those opals. I may have to like muck around with a temporary stockpile just to do this. You know, all I want to do is say take from nowhere and then create a new stockpile there. Yeah, that should have been a gem stockpile. Oh well, fix that.
Get to the end of the day.
Mm. Well, I can see it says cute pig. I suppose that is actually the face of a pig, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, I'm being distracted by links people have posted in IRC, which may not be visible. Right, so that's successfully removed some of the opals, but not the ones from not the one that's actually sitting on the drawbridge. So let's go take from anywhere and hope it takes from the nearby thing. And that wants to be turned into a fortification so that we can see the Forgotten Beast when we finally get it in there, and that wants to be linked to a bridge, namely this bridge. And in the target we want to install the lowest quality mechanism available, because that one is going to be lost. Do we need more bins? Now my broker's asleep. We don't seem to have very many unallocated bins. Let's make some more bins. Anyway, I didn't actually get round to finding someone to make Ishtan's Honour Shield a thing, because I got distracted by trying to work out where Kogan Bistoculet is buried. If you're entombed somewhere, let us I feel that anyone who is entombed but not memorialised probably wants to be memorialised. If we have engraved your slab, we just need to find it. Any of those there are the one I'm after. We apparently have a slab for that one. Ingis Mostibrith. Got to read it out. It's traditional. Otherwise, how will we remember them? In memory of Ingis Mostibrith, born 140, struck down by the forgotten beast Gustak Uglyfroth the Mucus, in the rampage of the forgotten beast Gustak Uglyfroth the Mucus in Rhythmgates in the year 178. Lover of crowns. And in memory of Eshtanj Zonushil, born 113, struck down by the forgotten beast Gustak Uglyfroth the Mucus in the rampage of the forgotten beast Gustak Uglyfroth the Mucus in Rhythmgates in the year 178. Lover of catapult parts. Right, the rough gems have been cleared out of the Forgotten Beast store. They're nowhere near as interesting once they've been built into a catapult. Indeed, Justin says, I'm guessing DF hasn't been localised into non-English human languages. Certainly the... Yes, I don't think there has been a release. I have no idea if... They are currently working on a prettified version to be released on Steam. And for all I know, that one might turn out to be actually localised. Like, it's only barely been localised into English. In at least some respects. The A-an problem seems to turn up all over the place. I suppose I'm now thinking, I was planning to simply open the doors and let this forgotten beast out into the cavern so it could go round and go back in again. I'm now wondering if the thing to do is actually to carefully construct a corridor that it has to walk along. So that we don't have to call everyone in from the caverns. I mean, that would involve building a bunch of walls along the maybe I should make some more low value blocks. So we could build like walls around that corner, and then across there, and across there, and across there, and across there. No, not across there. And across here, and here, and here. And then the Forgotten Beast wouldn't be able to escape into the caverns as at large, which might be good for not having to drag everyone out of the caverns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Only needs 13 blocks. Which means that we're going to get more than enough out of that lot. Are we off the blocks anyway? I mean, I suppose we're going to recycle them so we can build it out of whatever happens to be lying around, and we apparently have tons of galena blocks for reasons I cannot currently recall.
Oh, it's a slight tooth grinder.
Yeah, let's try this approach. There's a small danger that these will end up being built the wrong way round, but we'll see. Right now it's looking like quite a serious danger that those will be built in such a way that people can't actually get out. Oh no, they can always get out that way, can't they? That's fine. Someone's logging some... Oh yes, there's that wall there that still needs sorting out. Right. And apparently rather weedy dwarf is carrying the last pile of galena blocks quite a long distance. But yes, this should now mean that I can release that Forgotten Beast without having to carefully lock everyone indoors first. Should. I mean, pretty much all of that route is actually underground in an actual tunnel, isn't it? So it's not even as if it could climb, that would be a problem. Right, so there are currently no creatures aside from the sacrificial cat in What? Have we even got a trader up here yet? Yes, we have. Right. Let's quickly do some trading. Sell some raw crystal glass because people occasionally want raw glass for strange moods. Some really pink garnets, quite valuable. Let's have some of those. Buy wood because we always do, even though we've got too much for it. One day I'll learn. Possibly we could start installing musical instruments in the temples. Maybe that would make people happier. Have no offers of turkey gobblers, sadly. Well, yes, there is a slight danger it'll make bards happier. These are humans, so they probably won't have any interesting weaponry. I'll probably not buy very much from them. Let's buy a bit of sand because we keep using it. If you've managed to find some sea serpent tripe, we will certainly have that. We will take your cheese and combine it with rock meat, maybe. We'll obviously take any books you've brought and any parchment you have. We will have all of that for a couple of items of jewellery. Prepared beetle brain. I mean, I don't want any, but
it must be quite hard to catch a prepared beetle because they're...
I mean, I presume that the book before mating is like about courtship rituals and such like.
Battle or asexually reproducing primitive life on the prehistoric planet.
Possibly, yes. But the planet has only existed for 174 years, so... Well, I mean, kind of. All of the I think that's not really true because the what's name processes essentially must have taken much longer.
Right.
It's just that civilization and such like all spontaneously appeared 174 years ago. So yes, there is probably some kind of pre-civilized history. Prehistory, indeed. They do have some iron things, actually. Let's have a brief look at whether they have anything I would consider worth having. Don't think we have anyone who could use a halberd. It's probably asking a bit much. Yeah, right. And like, I could offer your civilization some stuff. Offer you some objects of impractically large value. Like we've somehow managed to make a naked Moldog bone ring worth 11,650.
See, this is why you need a bone collar, because whoever did that probably can teach some other people.
Well, I think it's mostly that it got left in a jeweller's workshop for slightly too long. So it's encircled with bands of masterfully worked octagon cut Levin opals. It has a masterfully designed image of Asen Channel Morals, the dwarf, and dwarves in amethyst, but in which they are surrounding him or her regarding their appointment as broker of the Page of Passions. Another exceptionally designed image of dwarves commemorating the foundation of Rhythmgates. We do have a 10-kilogram silver crown here. That's a fairly exciting object. How have we managed to get things that low in value? Oh, right, yes, it's decorated with lapis lazuli, which is quite low valued, isn't it? Well, there's a pile of ludicrous things to take away with you. So, meanwhile, I was carefully checking that no one was anywhere along that corridor. Not even someone rendered in dark blue. And I think that is correct. And therefore, if I lock that floor hatch, it would now be safe to permit the Forgotten Beast to traverse that corridor. So let's do that. Forgotten Beast has got distracted. Hang on, that was the wrong lever, Stoat. To allow the Forgotten Beast to traverse that corridor. Not to forbid it. Right. Off it goes. It's a short distance away, so let us lock it in its destination. Actually, while we're here, also seal. Everything else. Clonk. Right. One more Forgotten Beast. Locked away, albeit not quite as nicely as when we can actually put them in a cage.
How long is your collection now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 forgotten beasts. Which is quite nice. So it lets us now remove the lever that might otherwise let the forgotten beast out. And then we wall in the floor hatch. You're currently in a state of having no diorite blocks kicking around. Well, we'll leave it for now then. And you can safely unlock this floor hatch and let someone collect the dead cat. So I think
Right, good night all.
good night. What's left up here is mostly bits of invaders. That one appears to have a job assigned to it. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe I'll leave that a bit longer then. Yes, I'm sorry our dealings with the merchants were so hurried. Oh yes, I should, as I have done before, but they all got killed by a forgotten beast, reinstate grazing for any grazing animals that need it. But that tends to be a good way just to cause them to get killed by the next forgotten beast. Okay, it looks like there's only that one actually. Yes, oh well. Still, it's not like there's much to eat down there either. Where's all the... Alright, there is actually cave moss there, it's just all muddy. Have a suitable, yes. In memory of Stukos Imush Udesh, born 126, suffocated, slain by the Bronze Colossus, and Gumos beast strikes the Chaos of Axes. This, I think, was the Death Zombie. in the rampage of the Bronze Colossus and Gumos, Beast strikes the Chaos of Axes in Rhythmgates in the year 178. And did eventually manage to get... No, or maybe they didn't get suffocated, I'm not sure. Anyway. Install. So we still have the situation that we have one slab where we believe that the person has been buried, but we haven't managed to find their tomb. Kogan Bistakulet. Memory of Kodan Bistakulet, born 54, struck down by the goblin Asno Spunwitch with an iron whip in Umos Tospas, the attack of strife in the year 175. I know we don't get a location for that. Loving father and husband. Most of our okay, no, that's perfectly normal. Just checking they aren't lying around up here somewhere. There's another one that somehow ended up unassigned. Don't seem to have I don't think it was the artifact retrieval pub crawl because we've got someone else here who did die in the same event, so I think that was just a was when a bunch of goblins turned up. We should probably now remove all of those rather complicated walls. I mean, not that they're very harmful, but it was a bit of an extravagance building them out of galena. It was our attempts at finding an artifact mug that sent people all over the map. And they completely failed. Let's stick our gratuitously mad raw adamantine door in the in there. Yes. Yes, obviously, arguably, they succeeded excellently. Let us designate our little zoo as a meeting area. Also designate its walls for smoothing. So I'm just going to make everything very confusing down there. Maybe that'll make everything very confusing. Just do the floor. Yes, I agree, Jacob. The mission definitely should be memorialised somehow. Yeah, essentially I can't actually mark something as to be engraved with things relating to a particular event, I don't think. I think those nice smoothed Right, you're having a really pretty decent time of it at the moment. Right, you're away from your family, but you haven't got any family, so we can't really fix that. Right, so now partly trying to improve that Guildhall. I think we just want to destroy all the remaining body parts up here. Because they're not people we want to memorialise. In some cases we don't really understand who they are anyway. Asked to do it using minus. Okay, there are a few teeth out here. Kelrulucherib. That's a slightly familiar name. I'll look that up. Some of these are not obviously dwarven. Not obviously goblin names. M doesn't feel very goblin-y either. I suppose they may be various scholars. That really should be stored in like the library. Now there is the oddity here. There's all this stuff stuck in an inaccessible fortification. So I think for reasons of tidiness we should aim to clear that out in a bit. Right, so all that wall has now been demolished again. I suppose we are quite a good place to come for worship now, given how many temples we have. And a stone worker is occasionally working down there. No. to improve the Forgotten Beast viewing room. I'm just slightly wondering whether they're okay. Yes, they are a little bit managing to get some detailing done and then noticing the Forgotten Beast and running away. I suppose it is slightly scary that the Forgotten Beast is not properly in a cage. They seem to get one square of floor detailed each time. It looks like there are still bits of storing. Yes, Kel Sherib does actually have a oh right, the problem is that Kel Sherib is in an awful lot of pieces. And as a result, their body parts are probably being hauled down one at a time. Well, it's getting there. Engraving those has improved the value of the place a bit. Well, I think that might be enough. Yes, okay, that was a much higher level guild hall. Oh, good night, Eek. Good night, Amble. Who was it? Ustrus Cudgel Grasps. There you are, yes. It's only the boring ones who ever want to stay. I apologise to the Forgotten Beast for the rotting cat in their accommodation. To rot. Crewmastered. Also a boring one. Night, Steph. You really don't have much to complain about now, apart from being away from your family, but we can't do anything about that. Right, let's see if adding this Galena statue of dwarves to this guild hall brings it up to standard. Yes, hurrah. Nope, they're boring as well. Another web spinner. Look, I was just saying I don't know where I'm going to put the next web spinner. Forgotten beast Uthgur Shash has come. A great quadruped composed of Billen. It has a short tail and it squirms and fidgets. Beware its webs. Excuse me, I'm going to look at a diagram for Gareth. Maybe if I can get this right. Yes, that. So if you accept that the Earth should probably be tilted in some direction, the line along the Earth separating the light bit from the dark bit is the line of, on one side of the Earth, sunset, on the other side of the Earth, sunrise. And so, from the moon's perspective, the only bit it can see of the sun is along that rim all the way around the edge of the Earth, where it's always sunrise or sunset.
Yeah, I guess all of that.
And so its redness is precisely the redness of those sunrises and sunsets.
Maybe I'm just not sure why sunrise is the red thing.
Well, yes, obviously this explanation of why the moon appears red relies on your believing that sunrise and sunset are red, and not demanding an explanation of that in order to satisfy you. If you need an explanation of that, then obviously you now have a new question to get an explanation for. Yeah, that was completely unhelpful. Right, anyway, so I have this metal forgotten beast, which also spins webs. Everyone back inside. And we should install a new kitten in there. Iridium oil cruxes also wishes to remain here, but is also boring. Where is that forgotten beast anyway? On its way down. Doesn't look like there's a vast number of people doing things in the caverns, which is nice. So can I convert that up stair into an up down stair? Do I need to actually... Do I need to actually construct the downstairs? Here comes our Bill and quadruped. Let's lock the front doors because we're not quite ready for it yet. It will make life slightly easier if we trap it in the non-web spinner trap. It seems to have got distracted and wandered off anyway. The rotten beast is now going back up. Oh no, it's descended into the water supply. The water supply is sealed off. Oh, here it comes again. Oh, it spotted the cat now. Oh. Oh. I didn't seal that section off from the fortress. Oh dear. I forgot to lock that floor hatch. Hmm. Right, well, that's going to require some care. Yes. And being a forgotten beast, it's a building destroyer. So what do we want to do now? Lots of yummy dwarves in here for it. I suspect the first thing is like to lock any doors that we conveniently can that have dwarves safely behind them. Because while a locked door won't stop a forgotten beast, it will slow it down. Doubt there's anyone in the mines. Did we eventually put a cap on this? So it looked like we ever did. Let's at least lock that door. So down here there are quite a lot of people in the dining room. We can't currently seal that off because there's a cat in that door. All being well, we can do that fairly soon. I mean, to be fair, Billen is at least a fairly soft metal. Time will advance better if I press the correct key. So everyone in the dining room is now safe. In the broader dining room complex, or at least is kind of safe. So that's all nominally stockpile. Let us cancel the stockpile nature. That section. And see if we've got enough materials lying around in there. To build a wall to separate, to make sure that the Forgotten Beast can't get into the dining room. So, a major problem is down here. Because there's that opening between the two sections. So I think I want to allow, as far as possible, for people to flee anywhere the Forgotten Beast might go. So I've already locked those, haven't I? Yes. So we don't have enough rock in there to build a wall to seal that room off. But we can demolish some of these workshops to get some. Actually, maybe we don't need to demolish them. Maybe you just need to cancel the active jobs. Yeah, that only gets us one more unit of diorite, so we still need to demolish 2 of them. Yes, there is going to be a lot of that. I mean, I think unless the Forgotten Beast does something particularly entertaining and actually manages to get itself into a lockable room, which is like why I'm leaving any room that just contains pigs unlocked. I think we also thus need to raise any military we've got. The question is, do we explicitly ask them to attack? Do we actually decide that our best approach is simply to mob it and hope for the best? The webs, though, they're really not going to help. There's no point in leaving those locked while the Forgotten Beast is on the upward side of them. Let's allow dwarves to escape downwards. Similarly, allow them to leave. Dizzy suggests send all the dwarves to hide in the ballista alley to attract it. I can see a kind of thought there of essentially send everyone somewhere where I can contain it, yes. So if we set a target up here, then because this is inside the fortress is not somewhere that we're very adept at dealing with this thing, and just having everyone fleeing in the same direction might help with organising things. So, what I want really is for everyone to be on the opposite side of some bridge that I can operate. But the problem is that I can only operate. Well, I suppose I have a bunch. Yes, what I should remember is I can operate the front door because I have a bunch of dwarves in the dining room, which is where the front door control is, and they're walling themselves in, and they will be fine, probably, depending how long it takes the Forgotten Beast to knock down those doors. So that then suggests sending everyone onto the surface as a reasonable strategy. Notice the long pause for that frame transition as every dwarf reconsidered their priorities. I'm slightly worried now that that's actually cancelled a bunch of things that I didn't want to cancel. Let us rather perversely define the dining room area as being, for this purpose, outside, because I want you guys to still be productive. Ditto this area. Suspect anyone locked in a bedroom is basically going to have to hope that we can distract the Forgotten Beast by other means. They're not going to be able to wall themselves in anyway. Right, and I think that we're not going to win. I think I want to throw everything I've got at this. And I should just tell everyone who's not locked away, try to kill the Forgotten Beast. You may not succeed, but it's probably our only hope. Kicking the Forgotten Beast, probably not going to help. Let's continue trying to contain the Forgotten Beast. Actually, maybe stop hitting it with your shield. Now I think we have isolated it a bit. In that, we've locked. I found we had a door here, so we've locked those doors and those doors and that door, which means that it can't get to the surface, it can't get into this area, and it can't get into the kitchens, as we already know, at least not without knocking a door down, which will take it some time to do. It can, of course, still get to all of the upper floors of the fortress, which is where most of the citizens are. So it's not a great improvement, but we are slowly confining it. And, like, that spear dwarf managed to cause it some injury before getting webbed. I think our mare is lacking like a useful weapon, sadly. Yeah, copper probably not going to do the job. No, we can't really do much about the webs. I'm just thinking all these people in the dining room are not actually of any use as fighters. No, they'll get themselves out eventually, but like it takes longer than it usually takes for something that's attacking them to kill them. So I should pick these people. Thicket Eternum of the Gloved Tundras. No. Dicut ecut eternum. Can I not cancel your order separately? No. That's kind of irritating. Oh well. Wondering if I unlock the door to let you and your... No, you've only got a copper spear. No, maybe not. If it was steel, I would let you out. The mayor's mandate has ended. I wonder how. Yes. Yeah, I may have a slight problem with getting anything walled nicely away. Namely that anyone who's in the military, which is almost everyone, sorry, they've managed to hold an election though. Nomel Erith Ergred, who is currently busy fighting the Forgotten Beast, has just been elected mayor. But is not proud. Actually, what I should do is to also define, let's say, most of the temples as a safe area. With the idea being that we can gradually lock their doors as people go inside them. Anyone who's not actively fighting the Forgotten Beast will tend to lock themselves away on the upper floors. The increasingly misnamed outside burrow this might work. Okay, anyone who's actually inside, who was actually engaged in military training, let's let them out to fight the Forgotten Beast. Seems polite. This will also mean that the pigs tend to disappear into runes because they'll obey the civilian alert. So what I really hope is that the Forgotten Beast will chase a pig into a bedroom and then we can wall it in there. And the Forgotten Beast will prioritise going upstairs after things that are exposed over I'm wondering if I actually call off the military, because maybe it's worth a try. Also, my Mace Lord is laughing in the face of death. Actually, no, let's do a bit of calling off the military and leave maybe if I what do? I switch that back into squad selection mode, I think, and go, where are they? Not a very helpful thing to ask, though. I'm thinking about calling off everyone who's not the Gloved Tundras, i.e. who's not the really active service. Yeah. I mean, that has its problems as well. Actually, what I want to do is something much more complicated. Is then to go, right, you're here, you obviously want to be. Sorry, you want to be in the Gloved Tundras. You're just standing right next to the Forgotten Beast. You're a child, we can't do much with you. You're a scholar, we can't do much with you. We apparently have a Mace Lord somewhere. So the militia captain of the Violet Tomes should probably be instructed to attack. As indeed may as well be you. So I want to go S, E, C, K, that. And you're the other member of the Violet Tomes, are you? Right. I should have left the Violet Tomes attacking, clearly. Because they were all there anyway. Who else is on this square then? The Mayor, who's a member of the Rags of Winding, and the Captain of the Guard, who is somehow not actually a member of anything. You can join the Violet Tomes. So the Mayor, who's a member of the Rags of Winding at the moment. Actually, let's just pile anyone whom we actually want to attack into the Violet Tomes for now. So that's everyone who's immediately adjacent, I think, or even close to being adjacent. I mean, admittedly, punching it is not going to do any good. Fracturing its legs will at least slow it down. No, we are fracturing it quite extensively. The Rock long ago fought the Bronze Colossus and lost. Yes. Yes, but that is fighting, as in was last seen fighting several months ago. Recruit, you're doing very well, but you're fundamentally only going to actually achieve anything. If you find yourself a weapon. This child is impressing me, but is probably not going to do well. So I want to see how this ends. Well, maybe not ends. See, one problem the Forgotten Beast has is I think it's prioritising targets who are not webbed because they're more dangerous. But what that means is that it gives the ones that it has webbed a chance to escape again. See, those earrings are dangerous. Well, the Forgotten Beast can grab you by the earring, you see. Hang on. It's here somewhere, I'm sure. The Forgotten Beast releases the grip of the Forgotten Beast's left front leg on the recruit's crundlebone earring. So, oh dear, that's not going to be good for the spear dwarf. Yes, thought as much. Impressive, but so yes, I fear that this recruit will not last long. After that, and the scholar, and the piglet, the recruit has upgraded being a wrestler, mind, after so much wrestling of a Forgotten Beast. But fundamentally, you don't really want to be wrestling a metal Forgotten Beast. I think we're now out of people who actually have weapons, so I don't think we're going to get any more injuries to Forgotten Beasts. So I'm going to unpause for a bit and let everyone die. There. Oh no, the wrestler's still alive. Not anymore, I don't think. So, got this we've got a bunch of people up here who are now quite close to the Forgotten Beast. Who has it been? So, oh no, Imish Thingamy is dead already, so that's not very helpful. Odd-on Than thing is still alive. Can't find them though. Okay, yes, you're there. Really, so many people in our... The answer is yes, in that one square. Right, what? I mean, you're all very close to the Forgotten Beast. So I'm inclined to draft all of you who at least have a weapon. You're in the Violet Tomes, that's good. You're in the Violet Tomes, that's good. You're in the Violet Tomes, you're in the Violet Tomes, you're in the Violet Tomes. You're not in the Violet Tomes and are unarmed. You're not in the Violet Tomes but are also, I think, unarmed. Similarly, you. And frankly, if you don't have a weapon, you're not going to do anything here. So, yeah, okay. I think that arrangement is about as good as it gets. You, on the other hand, do. You have a spear. You should be put into the Violet Tomes. You have a spear. You should go into the Violet Tomes. Right. That should mean we've got a bunch more people trying to attack this thing. Even though it mostly seems to be this one rather brave scholar. Who is repeatedly punching it. Oh dear, there goes another Spearmaster. Anything good happening yet? Really? Main thing we can say is good is that the Forgotten Beast is mostly staying down there, but unlike it's quite battered, but it doesn't seem to, that doesn't seem to be slowing it down very much. Someone's turned up with a warhammer. Where's Forgotten Beast got to? Oh, it's on the trapdoor. Of course, it were foolish enough to go down that trapdoor. You haven't actually got a weapon, have you? No. So you may as well be fleeing. Those two are scheduled for removal. Right, we've got one of the walls built. We wanted two of the walls built, indeed. I'm going to... Yeah, we are demolishing that if we can. We are successfully denting it repeatedly, and we've fractured several bits of it. Has it got to? It's there, right? Anyone directly above it who needs to be drafted? Doesn't look like it, no. Nothing good has happened to it recently. I'm unpausing for a second or so at a time and seeing what happens. Mostly seems to be getting into wrestling matches now. Where's it got to? Okay, it's under a big pile of web. It's busy wrestling with a mace lord. Nothing very... Anything managed to hurt it lately? Not really, no, it's just killing things. Mostly pigs. It's still there. And like, it's very battered. But the thing about being made of metal is you can be dented quite a lot and still survive. So I was just noticing that the one of the hatches was unlocked, was open rather. I'm wondering if the Forgotten Beast went down there briefly, but still on this level for now. At the moment, all of our nearby military are trapped in Forgotten Beast webs. And like, it is still killing them. Don't think it's ever going down the stairs. Kind of wondering if it's sufficiently wounded that it's worth trying to send more people after it, but also kind of reluctant to do that. On the other hand, I do have a militia commander repeatedly biting it. Well, it was. He was, until being knocked unconscious. Seb asks, can you send the Colossus? I don't think I can sensibly get the Colossus to it anymore, because they are in different sections of the fortress now. I've managed to isolate the Forgotten Beast from the Bronze Colossus, among other things. And I think this is probably good. But indeed, possibly what I should be doing is working on isolating more bits of the fortress from one another where we can. So one problem is we haven't got very much by way of loose rock and such like lying around that we can use to build walls. Yeah, I mean, like in theory I can do that, but that's only because in theory from there you can reach, well, indeed the entire cavern at the moment. But I suppose what I could do... I mean, I can move doors around, and the front wall of the library is mostly made of blocks. So if I knock down the front wall of the library, I could start using that to build other things. Oh, and actually, oh no, the mines are accessed by a different route, aren't they? Which is both good and bad. What I wonder is if I can... I think it's worth a try, actually. Just demolish... Oh no, but those aren't demolishable, are they? Those are dug staircases. Which means that only miners can remove them. The problem is, I bet those diorite doors are somewhere inconvenient as well. So let's remove a few doors from unoccupied rooms. With the general idea being actually, I don't think it's worth doing it for those ones. That we stick those doors in to help seal off the staircases, and then build walls behind them if we can find suitable materials. What's the Forgotten Beast doing now? Basically, fighting any cats that turn up, isn't it? Which is fine. So that will seal off that layer. And we've now sealed off the dining hall from the Forgotten Beast. Go on, go down the stairs where the cat went. That would be brilliant. I think there were a few dwarves who were actually out in the caverns and who were trying to come in and actually succeeding. Just realised that might have been because we'd accidentally left something unlocked that shouldn't have been. Right, yes, a bunch of attempted and completely stupid transport jobs have just disappeared. Excellent. Where's it gone? Right, it's going up the stairs. So there's a bunch of doors slated for removal, but they haven't yet been removed. So sadly we can't yet seal it in. I'm going to have to stop doing this for tonight soon, even though we're in the middle of an exciting Forgotten Beast fight. It's fighting fairly slowly. Right, we've now made it up onto this floor. Let's have a quick check that there are no embarrassingly open doors nearby. Let's just lock that door just to discourage it from releasing all the other Forgotten Beasts. It's mostly dealing with that corridor full of pigs and cats at the moment. gone down a floor again. It's not very helpful. There isn't really much for it to do down there. Right, I think, much though we are in an entertaining mess, that it is now much too late for me to carry on dealing with this. And so I'm going to declare... Oh, there's an airborne scholar there. Whee! That's quite a long way to fly. Thud. Ow, yes. We got thrown all the way across that along that corridor. Right, anyway. Well, here we do have someone sorting out walling off that area. How are those doors coming along? Has anyone actually managed to remove a door yet? Probably not, because civilians aren't allowed into the relevant areas, are they? Yes, that's the problem. I'm just going to tag a bunch more areas as actually you're allowed in these areas. In the hopes that then someone will actually do something about those doors. So I'm not sure I can organise that well enough. Anyway, I think I'm going to stop for the night now, and we will see you all on Friday when I'll go, ah, again. So, good night and see you later.